What's going on, guys? Mr. Jones once again. Today we're going to do Ready, Set, Go 4.1. Part of it's going to directly correlate to the task we did 2 days ago, where you had to create your own story and create what we called was piecewise functions, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Another thing we did in the last task was we did do function notation. So if you look at problems 1 through 4, 1A through D, goes with the first graph, and then 2A through D goes with the second graph, and so forth. So finding them graphically is actually easier. If the first one said, what is f of -3, you literally just go over here to the graph. You can probably see yours better if you make it bigger. But go to the -3 and then go up to the graph and see what your answer is going to be. Let's see if we can zoom in enough right now to see actually what's going on here. So let's try it out. Zoom, zoom, zoom. All right, f of -3. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh, the answer was 0 there, right? So my y value is 0 whenever x is -3. Okay, so that's how you do all those. Find the y value whenever it gives you the x value by looking at the graph. All right, question 5 now gives you a scenario. It says Isaac lives 3 miles away from his school. School ended at 3 p.m. and Isaac began his walk home with his friend Tate, who lives 1 mile away from the school, in the direction of Isaac's house. Isaac stayed at Tate's house for a while and then started home. On the way, he stopped at the library, then he hurried home. The graph at the right is a piecewise defined function that shows Isaac's distance from home during the time it took to arrive home. Okay, so now there's a whole bunch of questions. So if you need to, reread that scenario and think about which part of the graph is it talking about in each scenario, right? So if it says he hurried home, that probably meant that he went faster, and that's why the slope was steeper than it was somewhere else. So you're going to answer all of these questions, A through F, in relation to that graph there, okay? All right, now we're going to get to the set portion. This part should directly relate to the task. And you're going to read the scenario. So for example, number 6, a parking garage charges $3 for the first 2 hours that a car is parked in the garage. After that, the hourly fee is $2 per hour. Write a piecewise function for the cost of parking a car in the garage for X hours. Okay, so that's kind of just a confusing way to say. You can see that right here, this horizontal line is one equation, and this line is the other equation. Be aware that at the top, there's an arrow, so that one's going to have infinity, okay, whenever you put the domain, right? So remember how we did piecewise functions, where you're going to have 2 equations, right? It's going to say f of x equals 1 equation, 2 equations, comma, and then you're going to have this whole thing going on, right? Just be aware that the one that has infinity in it can't have an equal sign because you can never actually equal infinity. So that's kind of how to get that started, and I'm no good at making those curly brackets. All right, last but not least is the go section. And it says, write the equation of the line in point slope form that contains the given slope and point. We practiced this on Monday in the warm-up. So the point 1, 2, and the slope is 3. Okay, so remember that our equation is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is our x, this is our y, our x and y1, I should say. So if you recall that equation, hopefully you can throw the 1 and the 2 in there properly and then get the point slope form. I would like you to extend it a little bit further and write it in slope intercept form also, because that's really what we like it in, right, is slope intercept form. The next one gives you 2 points, right? So the problem is we don't have the slope. So if you have 2 points, then you should know the equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's asking for the equation. Let's go ahead and find the slope for the first one. So if my 2 points of the first one are 0, 0, and -4, 5, label one of them 0.1 and one of them 0.2. And then you just plug and play into this equation. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then you go ahead and solve this. 5 minus 0, 5. -4 minus 0, -4. And now you have the slope negative 5/4. And you could use this and either one of these points to create an equation that looks like this. And go ahead and give me slope-intercept form also, because that's what we really like. All right, guys, that should do it. If you have any other questions, just ask. I know sometimes I don't do enough in these videos, but I'm never sure exactly what you guys need. So speak up so I can clear it up for you. I would love to help you. Have a great day.